Two lonely fans there in jubilation. The Leafs, of course, losing the series last night to Washington. What a ride it was for Toronto fans this past week.
So let's talk about the highs and lows from last night's game with John Shannon of Sportsnet. Welcome to the studio, John.
Hi, Adam. Dina, how are you?
Oh, what a sad but lovely picture that was at the same time, because just moments before.
That's the Where's Waldo women.
Yeah,
really, that's true.
So what do you think would make of all of this?
Well, listen, this is just the beginning. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, this is what I think could be a 5 or 6 year run of, in the end, championships. What we're talking about is a team that is so young, yet so talented, and the core is big, the core is good, they've got a great coach. I shudder to think the impact this team has made on the NHL and will make in the NHL. They're going to change the game in many ways, just like the Edmonton Oilers did in the early 1980s. This team can change the NHL and change the fates of 50 years of frustration in Toronto.
Here's hoping. Now, John, you know, obviously it's a little bit early to be talking about what they're going to do this summer. We've still got 3 rounds of playoffs, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But if you're the general manager, if you're Lou Lamoriello and Brendan Shanahan, what do you look at on this team upgrading this summer? Is it a growth thing, or is it they need another body in there?
No, they're going to need bodies. Let's face it. I think that what they're going to need, Adam, is they're probably going to need another quality defenseman. There's going to be a couple of free agents out there they're going to have to go after. You know, they got a lot out of some guys on that blue line that I think people didn't think could play this way, and I think that's important. So free agency on July 1st is going to be a factor. Then they're going to have to look at a couple of veteran guys like James Van Riemsdyk, who's going to be in his last year of his contract, Leo Komarov the same way, Tyler Bozak the same way. Do they want to live with those guys long term, and will they decide either to move them, or as of July 1st, they can actually re-sign them again?
I love that Babcock even said it was so refreshing. He didn't even know how well they were going to do, because you don't know until you put these young guns to the test what they have in them to dig that deep, to go this far against the best team in the NHL. They pushed them every single game. This was by no means an easy triumph for Washington.
No, this was scary.
Yeah.
Let's face it, when you look at the Washington Capitals have a terrible history in the playoffs. They choke too many times. They've choked too many years. The Leafs pushed them. When you have 5 games into overtime, even last night, all it took was 1 break. The Leafs could have gotten that break in overtime to force a Game 7. I mean, Austin Matthews was remarkable through the whole series. So many of the young guys contributed so much. You know, this was a team, Dina, that all season long ran with 6 rookies every game, and no team in the NHL did that, and that's the positive about this for Toronto.
So looking ahead, obviously, you know, the playoffs aren't over. So we've got 2 great Canadian teams in the second round. One of them is your favorite, personal. We got the Edmonton Oilers, and of course the Ottawa Senators. So can we break down those series quickly?
Sure.
And what can we expect if we're watching?
Well, you know, in many ways, you've got I would argue, the second best player, a kid from Toronto, Connor McDavid, that's playing for the Edmonton Oilers. He's a generational player. He's going to be in that line with Crosby and Lemieux and Gretzky. He's that good. And he's really put Edmonton back on the map when it comes to hockey. I think they can beat the Anaheim Ducks. I think that Edmonton, in their first round series, proved that they have people other than McDavid that can score. They've got a good goaltender in Cam Talbot. He's from Caledonia. I think that they're in pretty good stead. And by the way, the West with Chicago being eliminated in the first round, which shocked all of us because some of us picked them for the Stanley Cup. The path to go to the final for a team like the Edmonton Oilers is a lot easier now. So I wouldn't rule out at this point a team like Edmonton getting all the way to the Stanley Cup final. That would be something.
We will watch and see, catch all of your hockey highlights, cheering on our Canadian teams, of course, being Edmonton and Ottawa on Sportsnet. Thank you so much for taking the time, John. Before you leave, we will ask you during commercial break if you don't mind signing our synthetic ice.
I'll sign it in English.
Okay, thank you. Right now, over to Mel with some news. Thank you.